Hello students, this is your flipped grammar lesson for Storytown Lesson 14, Possessive, Reflexive, and Indefinite Pronouns. On your WISC worksheet, you should write this under Unit of Study. Then in the W section, write when and where you watched this video, and get ready to find the information for the S section, or the summary. So while we're learning about possessive, reflexive, and indefinite pronouns, we will be using the theme winter for our example sentences. Get your WISC worksheet out, a pen or a pencil ready, bundle up with your hot chocolate and your mittens and scarf and everything, and let's get ready to learn some grammar. First, we need to do a quick review of the previous lesson. Pronouns replace nouns in a sentence. The antecedent is the noun that the pronoun is replacing. And pronouns must match their antecedents in gender and number. You will need to remember these three key details in order to do well in the lesson coming up. Now that you have refreshed your memory on what a pronoun is, let's take a look at the first specific type of pronoun we will be studying this week: possessive pronouns. You might remember learning about possessive nouns previously, and we talked about how possessive nouns always use an apostrophe. Well, let's look at how possessive pronouns are a little bit different. First, a possessive pronoun does take the place of the possessive form of a noun. That's the noun that uses an apostrophe. However, the possessive pronoun does not use an apostrophe. The possessive noun takes the apostrophe with it when it is replaced by the possessive pronoun. Possessive pronouns can go before nouns, or they can stand alone in a sentence. Let's look at some examples. Take a look at this chart of possessive pronouns. First, notice again that none of these possessive pronouns use an apostrophe. The possessive noun took the apostrophe with it when the pronoun moved in to replace it. This chart divides the pronouns into three cases, which you might remember from learning about point of view in reading class. These cases are first person, second person, and third person. In the first person case, the possessive pronouns take the forms of the pronouns I, me, and we, where the narrator, or person speaking, is referring to themselves directly. The second person case refers to the forms of you. In this form of writing, the narrator is speaking directly to the audience or listener, such as in a letter, email, or play. The third person case uses a narrator that is outside the story or action, looking in. These possessive pronouns take the form of he, she, they, and it. Of course, just like in regular subject or object pronouns, possessive pronouns must also match their antecedents in gender and number. Now, read the sentences below the chart and take a moment to find the possessive pronouns in these sentences. In the first sentence, Donna dropped her ice cream cone. The possessive pronoun is her. Her is followed by the object that is being possessed or owned by that possessive pronoun. The antecedent of her is Donna's, Donna apostrophe S. In the second sentence, the students enjoyed their trip to the zoo. The possessive pronoun is their. There is followed by the word trip, which is the object or thing that's being owned by the students. So, the antecedent of the word there is students with the S apostrophe that shows the possession. Finally, in our last sentence, the green pencil case is mine, we have a possessive pronoun that stands on its own. It doesn't have the object that is being owned directly after it. Mine is the possessive pronoun, and it's by itself in the sentence. The antecedent for mine is the person who is speaking. In a moment, you will see a couple of videos that use possessive pronouns. Try to find the possessive pronoun and identify what is being owned in the sentence. If you can, see if you can identify the antecedent of each of the possessive pronouns. Here's the first sentence. The boy rode his sled like a surfboard. Did you find the possessive pronoun in this sentence? The possessive pronoun is his. The object being owned is the sled. And I hope you figured out that the antecedent would be the possessive form of boy. Boy apostrophe S. Find the possessive pronoun in this sentence. The boys tried to build a snowman, but its head kept falling off. In this sentence, the possessive pronoun is its. The object being owned is head, and I hope you figured out that the antecedent would be the possessive form of snowman, snowman apostrophe S. The next type of pronoun we will study this week is reflexive pronouns. You may have heard of the reflexive property in math, which is a very simple property to understand. It states that any number is equal to itself. In the same way, a reflexive pronoun is referring to itself. Reflexive pronouns are formed by adding self or selves to the base pronoun. It refers back to the same pronoun or antecedent, which is a noun, from earlier in the sentence. However, a reflexive pronoun is always an object pronoun. A common mistake people make with reflexive pronouns is to use them in the subject in a sentence, but this is never correct. Let's look at some examples. On this slide, you can see the reflexive pronouns, again, divided up into first, second, and third person, and singular and plural forms. Now, take a look at the sentences at the bottom and decide which of these is not correct. Santa will treat himself to cookies and a glass of milk. His mother asked if she was talking to herself or if he was listening to her directions. The twins and myself will work together on the project. Think about it. The first sentence is correct because the word himself follows the action verb will treat. So it is in the objective form. It's used correctly because reflexive pronouns are always an object pronoun, and object pronouns follow action verbs. The second sentence is also correct. The word herself is the object of the preposition to. Another way to make an object pronoun is to make it the object of a preposition. So this sentence is correct. The incorrect sentence is sentence number 3. Twins and myself should be the subject of the sentence, but reflexive pronouns are always object pronouns, so that's what makes this sentence incorrect. The correct way to write this sentence is, the twins and I will work together on this project. I is a subject pronoun. In the upcoming videos, try to identify the reflexive pronoun and explain why the reflexive pronoun is used correctly in the sentences. What is the reflexive pronoun in the sentence? The geese use their instincts to guide themselves south. The reflexive pronoun in the sentence is themselves. That was probably pretty easy to find because it ended in the selves ending. However, it's a little trickier to figure out why it's correct. Themselves is used correctly because it's an object pronoun, following the action verb of the sentence. What is the reflexive pronoun in this sentence? You can turn the outline of yourself into a snow angel. Again, it was probably pretty easy to find the reflexive pronoun in this sentence. The reflexive pronoun is yourself. Why is it correct? Well, yourself is the object of the preposition of in the sentence. Since yourself is the object of the preposition, it is being used correctly in the sentence. Reflexive pronouns are always used as object pronouns. The last type of pronoun we will be learning about this week is indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns refer to nouns in a more general or generic way. They can be subject or object pronouns. I made a list of some of the most common indefinite pronouns in purple on the side of this slide. Of course, there are many, many others. Let's take a look at a couple of videos and practice finding the indefinite pronouns. See if you can tell whether the indefinite pronoun is being used as a subject pronoun or an object pronoun. What is the indefinite pronoun in this sentence? The dog thinks the snow is something special. In this sentence, the indefinite pronoun is the word something. Something is an object pronoun in this sentence because it follows the action verb. What is the indefinite pronoun in this sentence? Each of the boys tried to find the biggest snowball. Although the word each can be used as an adjective, in this case it is the indefinite pronoun in the sentence. Because each is the subject of the sentence, it is a subject pronoun. This concludes our grammar lesson for the week, so get back to your whisk worksheet. In the S section, write a 5-sentence summary of what you learned from the video. As always, if there was a portion of this video that you did not understand, please feel free to go back and watch it again. Then, in the Q section, write a question you might have about something you did not understand in the video. If you have no questions, then create a test question for your classmates. Be sure to complete the video on time and turn in the whisk worksheet by the due date, and we'll see you in the next grammar lesson.